What are you working towards? Is it health, wealth, living in your purpose, financial freedom, spiritual abundance, feeling connected, finding yourself? None of the above? Why not? What is really stopping you from working towards your best self? Well, the answer to that question is you. You are the only thing that stands in your way, my love. You are not created in lack. You are not created insufficient, incapable. You are not inferior to the person or persons next to you or behind you or in front of you. You were expertly, superbly, no, perfectly crafted to do what sets your soul on fire. And I'm not here to tell you what that is, but I am here to remind you it's waiting for you when you're ready. It always is. Now, I can start by letting you know a little bit about myself. So I've always been different. And I know, like people say that. But I've always been different. I've always been weird, if you will. But charismatic. And I had a tendency to lie as a child about anything, about everything. I recognize that now as an adult, that it was a storyteller aspect in me. Like I love to tell stories. I loved to change my narrative. If I was unhappy with what it looked like, I made it into what I wanted it to look like. And like we do that as children. But I feel like I probably did it a lot more than your average. And I mean, like, obviously lying is frowned upon. So it's like it wasn't a great trait that I picked up. But I accept it. I'm grateful for it. I understand what it was telling me now as an adult. I created a mask very young to fit in. Oh, everyone kind of does. But to keep people away from my uniqueness or my true self, if you will. Whenever I got too comfortable and some of my true self leaked out, it commanded an audience. And it felt good initially. But it displeased the people around me, and there were people who I viewed as important, my peers mostly. And that's where I wanted to fit in most. So I began to refine that mask for the ones who were displeased. Because, I mean, obviously not everyone was displeased. Some people were just happy in my energy, but I made the choice to shrink myself, to be comfortable, essentially, in a place that was never meant for me. How many of you can relate? We do this often. Leave a comment down below. Have you ever been called extra or an attention whore or embarrassing for simply being in your own energy? How can it be bad? This is just who you are. This is who you are naturally, right? As a child, I felt like a spectacle, and it became more and more difficult to contain my true self beneath the mask I created. So I commanded attention but shied away from it. I developed gifts and I never shared them. I became more sensitive to the energies that surrounded me, and I even discovered some of my own family members were uncomfortable with my energy. Shocking, right? No, this is common. So what did I do? I suppressed it even further. I derailed. I put myself in some screwed up situations. I became a people pleaser and developed codependency around needing to feel needed by choice. Mind you, this was all by choice, and of course I know I have grace for myself because I made a lot of these choices and began this as a child. So I have grace for myself. But all of this was by choice because there was no one to tell me, listen, it's okay to be yourself. Like, it's okay if this person doesn't like you. It's okay if you have to let this person go, especially when it came down to family members, because we're always taught to stick together. Families stick together. Families work it out. Families do this, but your family, some of your family members can be the most abusive. But we don't really address that often. Some of your family members can be at the center of your anxiety issues, stress disorders. The list could go forever, but I won't even, that'll be something else that we talk about another time. But why do we choose misery to make others happy? And why do we choose others over ourselves? Because selflessness is revered. And don't get me wrong, sometimes to be selfless is a beautiful thing. But it is celebrated to serve others and frowned upon to be self-serving. In the name of balance, both should be important. As an adult, I recognize that I was ignoring a child wound. I was being what everyone else needed to avoid being that for myself. And it's crazy how that works, right? That's what conditioning looks like. And whether we are conditioned by our environment, our parents, our friends, ourselves, it is up to me, to you, to us, to find release, to change our mindset, to be who we want to be and not who we're expected to be who we are, not who we're told to be. It's important. There's a call. Everything is being laid out. You can feel the discomfort. There's tension in the air. everywhere we walk. And we have to take our time with the process, though, and to give ourselves grace where we feel tender. But to walk in that direction where we feel tender, to go and do the work right now to improve ourselves, to feel obligated to yourself and self-work first. Now, I am a mother to 4 incredible children and a couple of bonus ones. And I am too excited, too pumped to pour into them from a place of self-love. Where before I was loving from outside of myself, in survival mode, starving my inner child. But that's another topic for another day. The pursuit of happiness is a common objective with no real direction. We never pinpoint the direction. We're in a rat race towards infinity as we are infinite beings. But what does happiness look like to you? It's not the same for everybody. Do you know what you're chasing? Picture it in your mind. Experience it in your dreams. Meditate. Journal your emotions around it. What can you do to achieve it? Then ask yourself again, what are you working towards? That's all the time I have for today. I thank you for hanging out with me on my first episode of Mother, the podcast. If you have anything you want me to talk about or would like to share your opinions, leave it in the comments below or email me at the email address provided in the description box below. If you're vibing with me, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe on your way out. And until next time, my loves.